Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike and today's video is going to be a very chatty get ready with me video, and today's video is also partly joined by lots of wind because the Netherlands has recently been hit by a storm every single Sunday for some reason, and I tend to film most of my videos on Sundays because that's when I have most time. And so I know that a lot of my videos recently has had this like whistle or like woof kind of background noise, and that's wind, and I can control a lot of factors, but I can't control the weather. And I tend to live in a place where we just get a lot of wind, so it's been positively howling again all morning. I tried to wait a little bit before filming this video to see if it would go away, but it's still as bad as it was an hour ago. So I'm just going to sit here, chat to you about a lot of the products that are currently in my shop, my stash, and put all of it on my face. Got myself a cup of coffee. Let's roll. Right, so I have switched out my primer. You may have already seen this in my Catrice video that went live finally on Sunday, because I used up my backup primer that I was using for the past couple of months. So I switched it out for this. This is the Essence Hydrating and Perfecting Primer. I already tried this on my face in another video where I put it up against the Glow and Care Primer by Catrice, which was a fun video to do, if you want to, I can link it in the eye above if you find that helpful. And I just decided that, you know, those two primers were actually quite similar to one another. And yeah, this, I just thought I could start using this and then the Catrice one just to use them up, because that's what I like to do with primers. I like to use them until they are all gone. And these little bottles only come with 15 mils of product, so that's like half of what you get in a normal primer. And since this is also quite hydrating, I feel it's still very useful for the winter time, and especially with this weather that we've been having. Like, we haven't had much of a winter with like actual cold and snow and frost and all that, but we've been having like the perpetual fall. That's what winter has been like here. And so the past 3 weeks has been nothing but wind and rain, and it wasn't great. So I then find hydrating products also very helpful for my routine. For my eyeshadow base, I am again going to be using the Essence You Better Work Eye Primer. This has been my eye primer for the past couple of months. Again, like with face primers, I use these up before I open another one, and this one feels very low. But with eyeshadow primer, I'm not sure if you have the same issue I have, but with eyeshadow primer, I always feel like, ooh, it's almost gone, and then you still have like tons of product left. Because I also feel that with this tube, there's like more product in the bottom than there is in the top. So I'm pretty sure that this will last me another couple of months. And so far, I've been liking it. It's nothing too special, like it's nothing to write home about. But when it comes to eye primer, this one is very affordable and it gets the job done. Is it the best eyeshadow primer I have ever used? I think I still, like from a drugstore perspective, I think the Milani one is still my favorite. But this one has been getting the job done, as I said. So it's lovely enough. I don't need to start, like I need to make sure I don't use those products again. I was mixing things up over here. For foundation, you know that this Hourglass Vanish Stick foundation was already in my shop, my stash in January, and then I just didn't end up reaching for it. So I wanted to make a point of using it this time round, and that's what I've been doing. So for the past 2 weeks or so, I've been using this. It's a triangular like cream stick foundation. Mine is in the shade Alabaster, and I found that this is best applied with a brush, which was a surprise to me. I tried blending this in with a sponge, and to me, it just didn't work at all when I tried to blend this in with a sponge, because it's quite thick, and I just feel that this really needs buffing more so than bouncing around. Like, it just doesn't, once it's on your face, it doesn't really, like the sponge doesn't pick it up very well. I do feel that I need quite a lot of product every single time I use this to get the coverage I want, because it kind of like stays in the place where you've put it most. So, and I don't think this comes with a whole lot of product either. So I do feel that this is a foundation that you can use up quite quickly. And for how expensive it is, I don't think I would repurchase it for that kind of money, but it is a lovely stick foundation. It's the best one I've tried. That said, I've only tried like 2 or 3 in the past. I haven't tried that many because they're usually really thick and cakey. And this is the first sort of like stick foundation that I feel works really well if you have drier skin. I do think that it's best for, let me get this sorted. I do think it's best for like this time of year, so like winter time. I think this will be too heavy in the summertime. But if you're looking for something that is super easy to use, I think this will be perfect for travel. Like when you travel and you just don't want to, you know, faff around with like wetting sponges and doing all that, and foundation bottles breaking in your bag and all that. Like I think that something like this, I mean, it's quite sleek, quite easy to use, and it just gets the job done. And I like the coverage this gives. It wears really well throughout the day. It stays put. I've been really liking this. But it's a bit expensive for how much product you get. that I do have to say. And then for concealer, I've also been using a different technique than what I usually go for, because again, usually I apply concealer with my sponge, but now we're using fingers because I've been switching to this combo. This was already in my Shop My Stash, but this was the replacement I decided to pick up when my Bobbi Brown corrector had run out. And this is the Pera ink corrector, which you may have seen in last month's full face of Asian makeup products. And I was hoping that this could be a replacement for the corrector I already had. I don't have that many correctors. And this is a really nice peachy toned corrector that just gets the job done. You only need a little. I once made the mistake of applying too much and then it looks orange. But if you only apply a dot like this, I feel it really, really helps with canceling out like the darkness underneath my eyes and like really covers dark circles nicely. It leaves a bit of an orange cast, so that's why I do like to go in with an actual concealer after it. That makes it a bit more skin toned, but I just sort of blend it in like that. And then that is the corrector all set and ready to go. Maybe a bit more here. I get really dark in like these really like inner corners. And then what I do is I go in with the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and a lot of you were excited for me to show you this in a video when I showed it in my New York haul. This is in the lightest shade, it's G12, and I feel that it's a really good shade for me right now. I only use this on my under eye, so I'm not going to be concealing anywhere else because I also feel that the Hourglass foundation already gives me the coverage I need everywhere else. So this has been a great combo, you guys. I've been loving this. And what I like to do with the Glossier is that I just like to just put some on my finger. Oh, I put it on my wrong finger. Oh well. I usually put it on my middle finger. And then I like to rub my fingers together. And I feel that that really sort of warms up the product. And then I sort of like just sort of dab it on. And that will like brighten it a little bit. And this concealer is so nice and hydrating and glowy on your under eye. And I was afraid that it would crease a lot, but I have found that if I have issues with this creasing, it just means I have applied too much of it. Because of course Glossier products are all about that like natural feel. So I feel that on its own, it's not good enough to cover up my dark circles, which is why I layer it over this. And then I feel it works really, really well. So I personally have been really loving the combo of this like base that I have going on. And then to set everything, I like to go in with a powder. You know, this was my powder of choice for the past few months. I've expanded the pan a little bit more again. I'm working on this until I've used it up. I do feel that like some of the product on this side is so thin that I think I will be expanding that pan before my next Shop My Stash, but I don't think I have it quite finished up before the end of this month. So I think I'm gonna have to keep this in rotation for like another month just to make sure I can use it all up. Right, so that's all like powdered and done. And then for brows, again, you know this about me. I keep my brow products in until I've used them up. and this is the Essence Super Last Brow Pomade Pencil. And this is quite an interesting product. It's quite thick. So this is the Essence Brow Pomade Pencil, and I really like this, but I do feel that I'm a bit over it by now because it's quite thick and waxy, and I think I have other pencils I just prefer, but you know, this gets the job done, and that's pretty much all you need in the end. So all I need to do is just fill them in a bit. I think the best part about this eyebrow pencil is the shade, because it's just a really lovely match to my natural brow hairs. This is not the kind of brow pencil that you like if you need a very defined brow or if you have barely any brow going on. I just fill mine in and that's it. And then I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Gimme Brow. Again, this has been in my Shop My Stash for a few rotations. And I think that next time I'm doing my Shop My Stash, which will hopefully be up next week, I'm going to be taking this out because it's getting a bit dry. And every single time I use this, you guys, I have to take splotches of brow gel. Like, I have to take them out of my brows because it just clumps by now. And I mean, it's not a good look. Like, I don't know. And I've had that issue ever since I opened the tube, that it's just too messy for my liking. Like with my Essence Make Me Brow, I can just like go in, and I'm done. And with this, there's always an issue. See, now these brow hairs are already clumping together. Oh, see, oh no. Too much product on the brush. It's just not my favorite, the way this works, and for how expensive it is, I expect it to be perfect, and it's just not. Now I have a smudge of brow product here. I mean, it's little things like that that makes me fall in love with the product or not, but with this one, I don't know, it's just not my favorite, and especially because I have a product that's like 1/10 of the price that I like better. Yeah, no for me. I mean, I like the shade of this as well. Like, this is shade 3. All right, so now that the base is sort of done, we can go in with some colorful products. For bronzer, I put in my Fenty Beauty one, and I haven't reached for it a single time. I've just been going in with my Makeup Forever, which I kept in for another rotation, and I'm just really loving this still, you guys. Like, by now, that pan is looking even worse than it did last time. I mean, like, we're definitely making progress with this one. I don't think I'll ever use it up before it dries out completely because it is drying out a little bit, but it's just been lovely on my skin. It just gives me just enough oomph to my face that I like for, you know, this time of year. Most bronzers I find way too dark in the winter time because I get quite pale, and then bronzer can just look a little overpowering, and I do want to not look too pasty, so I feel this just gives me just enough color, and it's just super easy to apply. And this used to have a wavy pattern. Where is the wavy pattern? Like, there's a couple of traces left, but for the most part, yeah, works really well. Then for highlight, and I'm super excited about this one because I finally started using the Nabla Skin Glazing Highlighter in the shade Privilege that I showed you in my Black Friday haul, and oh, that's very reflective packaging. This is like a very soft peachy shade. I've been mainly putting my brush into this top half so I don't ruin the rest of the pan. And this is one of those like gel to powder, like the Makeup Revolution, Makeup Forever bronzer is like that too. It has this gel texture, and then when you apply it, and with peachy bronzers, or highlighters I should say, it can be very problematic with how dark they are, but I feel that this doesn't have a lot of base color to it. It just gives you, do you see that? It just gives you just lovely shine, and I'm really liking this. This is like one of my favorite highlighters right now, but that's been the case with me with a lot of new highlighters that I try. So when I get round to decluttering, which is something that is on The filming schedule for this spring break that I'm having at the moment is to film another declutter, and highlighters is going to be tough, I think. So there's that highlight. You see that? It's just glow, and this is just so wearable for every day. It's not too metallic, it's not too in your face. It's got like that glass-like quality to it, and I've been loving it. A new blush that I put into rotation is the Benefit Gold Rush Mini Blush. And this does have a bit of overspray when you buy it, but it's a lovely like peachy shade. And this has been one of my favorites. And it's like a lighter version of Coralista, and that's one of my favorite colors for the summertime. So I've been digging this for real. Like, it's so natural on the skin. And with peach, like, I don't really like warm tones a lot, but this is just, again, like that highlighter, adds enough color, very fresh looking. Like, peaches and orange, like, can be too orange on me sometimes, but this is just spot on perfection. Now, for eyes. You know my usual drill. I double prime my lids with the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. Huge dip in it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but like, I really need to start digging this out. So this I just sort of dab all over my lid just to make sure there are no other colors here. And then once I've got all that down, I really do like to set this first because I have really deep eyelids. Like, I have a very deep crease, so if I don't set this, it's just going to smudge all over the place, and that's when we get creases, and we don't want that. So I'm going to set it with this Body Shop Color Crush eyeshadow. I think I'm again seeing rings in this already. Like, I had 3 of these, and I used up 2 of them. This is my last one. So I will definitely be taking recommendations once I start hitting pan on this for a good, like, cream colored single use eyeshadow that I can use to set my base with, because I love that and it's just perfect. Now for the highlight of today's show. Before we do that, let's take a sip. For the highlight of today's video, I wanted to play around with these Lethal Cosmetics singles. They have a really cool tool where you can build your own palette with their singles. They also now have a standalone palette if that's more your jam. But I really liked some of the shades that they had on their website, and I've actually been playing around with their tools so that when this palette comes back, they do this in the white but also in the black. So I was hoping to pick up a black one now so that I can tell them apart and get 12 more shades, because these shadows, you will see when you see these things going on, oh my heart, they are lovely. I will make sure to list the names of all of these shades in the description box because they all have names. And I went for like more like green shades, like this chartreuse is lovely. And then I've got some more like blues and teals here. And then we've got some purpley pinks down here as well. So I think what I'll just do is I'll go in with this shade as a transition, and then just sort of take it from there, because, or maybe I should just go for the greens. No. I think I'm gonna go in with this entire bottom row first, and then just take some of these lighter shades to pull it in. I'll tell you afterwards what I've actually done. So I'm just going to do a bit of a time lapse here where you can see me putting on this eyeshadow. So right, so I think that that's the setup of the eye look done. So I mainly, as I promised, I went in with these shades and then this lighter shade. So what I've done is I put this matte, like mauve shade in the crease as a transition. So that's what I blended all the way almost up to my brow just to make sure it transitions well. And then I was like, I need something a bit fun and dark. And I was like, this teal like if you blend that together, it becomes perhaps a bit purpley if you blend it into this. So that's what I've used in my outer V and like all over the crease. And then I sort of use that like matte again to blend it out a bit more. I use this shade all over the lid. And in the pan, as you can see, it looks like a pink. And you can't really see that it is a duochrome. So I think that on the lid, you can see it a lot better, that it has a very short, sort of like purpley, bluish sort of flash to it. So I feel that that sort of ties everything together a bit more. And then on the lower lash line, I just went in with this shade first, and then I used that purple just to make that stand out a little bit more. And then I used this like turquoisey, like really light shade in the inner corner. And I think that that works quite well together. I could have just as easily gone in with some of these greens. It's lovely, lovely quality. These shadows pretty much blend themselves. The shimmers are intense. I did use my finger to pack on that duochrome a bit more onto the lid, but that's what I do with every single shimmer. So it's time for mascara, and this is the mascara that I'm currently using on my top lashes, and I'm really liking it, you guys. This is the new Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift, and I just picked this up. It was on offer because it was new, and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And I'm usually not someone who tries out a lot of different mascaras. I have my staples, but because it said the Falsies Lash Lift, and one of my favorite Maybelline mascaras is the Falsies Flared, and that's a great volumizing mascara, but over here it was discontinued years ago. So I was hoping that this could be like a replacement for that, and it is. So I actually, like, I picked one up in the US, one of the Falsies Flared, because there you can still get it. I still have a backup of that, but this is a lovely replacement. So I actually think, even though I have plenty of other mascaras in backup, that once this is gone, I will repurchase it, because especially if like they do like an offer on like Maybelline mascaras, I will just pick up 2 of these and then I'll have it, and it's lovely. I just love the way this looks on my lashes. And it has like an hourglass shaped wand, which I quite enjoy. And I just find it's precise enough, because with a lot of like these larger wands, I just feel that I can smudge everywhere. And with this, I feel I have a lot of control over how much mascara I apply, where I apply it, and it's still very feathery looking as well. With volumizing mascaras, it can be so clumpy. And with this, I find that my lashes do not clump together as easily. So I like this. But you also know that I like to go in with this. This is the Catrice Glam & Doll Volume Mascara in Waterproof. You know that I've been using this, I think, for 2 years straight now. And I use this as like a waterproof top coat, so to prevent my mascara from smudging throughout the day. And I think this is, I'm not actually sure whether this is true, but this is my theory. Because this is waterproof, but I've layered a different mascara underneath it, it is not as difficult to remove, but that's just a theory. I'm not sure if that's actually a thing, but that's just how I experience it. I've used waterproof mascaras on its own, and those I find impossible to remove, whereas this makes it actually pretty easy to take off at night. And I like to use this on my bottom lashes because it's a bit more precise, so it doesn't smudge, and because of the waterproof formula, I don't get like raccoon eyes at the end of the day. Then for lipstick, I'm going to be using this, and this is a MAC lipstick in Brave, and I completely rediscovered it this week, so that's why I want to throw this on, especially with a very colorful look. This is such a great nude, and it's like, because I used that Catrice Power Plumping Gel Lipstick so much last year trying to use it up, I am just rediscovering all of these lipsticks in my collection, you guys. I'm like, oh yeah, Brave! That was such a great everyday neutral shade, and look at what I've done to the bullet. You can tell I love a lipstick if it starts to like have this dip. Like, I tend to wear down lipstick where I sort of first gouge out like a dip and then I have this like really flat tip that then eventually breaks off, of course, and makes it look very horrible. But this is one that I love, and I've loved for some time. Oh, such a great nude on me. So I don't know about you, but I really like this. I think this is a really pretty overall look. Then last up, fixing spray. This is the Makeup Revolution Green Tea Fixing Spray. I hope it doesn't mess up my mascara. I usually do this before I apply mascara and lips, and then it can sort of dry down after I've done that. Oh well. I forgot today. So this is the finished look, you guys. I'm pretty chuffed with this. I'm currently really loving what I have going on in my Shop My Stash. And I'm not sure if I'm the only person, but I then get a little extra excited about doing my makeup in the morning. Like I just get excited for getting ready and doing the whole shebang. So yeah, I've been really loving and the products I'm currently having in my rotation. So I just wanted to share my enthusiasm. And I think that doing a get ready with me like this sometime later in the month on some of the products in my Shop My Stash is also helpful for you, because then you can see everything going on and I can give you my thoughts on them as well. So I think that that's really, really lovely. And yeah, let me know in a comment down below what you think. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I've got a declutter series coming your way in March, so I hope you would like to stay tuned for that. Bye for now.